Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 9 US destroyer Fletcher. It has 5 main guns, 10 torpedoes, 22 AA guns, a surface detection of 5.8 kilometers, top speed 36.5 knots, total health 17,100. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main battery and propulsion, better main battery accuracy, faster rate of fire, faster rate of shift, and concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, faster turret traverse, superintendent, last stand, and concealment again. We are on the map Hotspot, and I spawned on the far west flank, but I don't like going after A. So I'm going to head for B. B has power over both A or C. I can choose based on the enemy's deployment where I want to go after B. And that's really the first objective of the game. Whenever I start out in a destroyer, I try and look for a position on the map where I can dominate. The Fletcher is one of those destroyers that really loves to run into other enemy destroyers. I can't tell you how many times I've bumped into a destroyer trying to capture a point and just obliterated him with the overwhelming firepower of the US destroyer line. Only destroyer that I don't want to see in 1v1 is the gearing. Everything else I can pretty much deal with in a 1v1. The enemy only has 2 destroyers. So we already have an advantage destroyer-wise. Someone is capturing. Okay, it's a destroyer. It was spotted by friendly aircraft. It's a Fubuki. So I know right away I'm never going to run into more than one enemy destroyer at B. That's a huge advantage. You need to keep all this information in mind at the very start of a match. Now it looks like the friendly aircraft carrier would like to kill a Fubuki, and that's fantastic. That's what you need to try and do. The Fubuki is forced to use his smoke, and he's trying to get out of the area. I'm sure he's just yelling and screaming, "Get off me, aircraft carrier!" There's nothing that a Fubuki can do. He doesn't have access to defensive fire. He's got to do his best job of avoiding any of the torpedoes that might hit him, and someone obliterates him. I don't know if that was the aircraft carrier. So the aircraft carrier did his job very well. Since the introduction of Arpeggio of Blue Steel, it really feels like aircraft carriers realize these destroyers aren't that bad to go after. I'm going to try and take them out. After they were trying to cheese it by getting all the destroyer kills very quickly up front. At this point in the meta, it feels like aircraft carriers realize, hey, it's not too bad to go after a destroyer. Why was I always going after battleships and aircraft carriers at the start of the match? They usually reinforce their position because they realize that's usually what is the primary target. But those destroyers, they'll overextend and they'll find themselves in a position where they're easily killed either by you or friendly aircraft. So, of course, we captured B. No one went B. It was a huge advantage for us. An enemy Atago is going to scout me out, and I'm just trying to get as far away, and he gets within that 5.8 kilometer detection. Now, I need to do everything in my power to escape. His secondary is already engaging me. Most likely his guns are going to turn too. And we break line of sight. He fires. He sets us on fire. I sent out my torpedoes trying to lead him, but it looks like I didn't lead him quite as much as I could. And I believe he's going to get by. Just squeaks by. Oh, man. And he's still detecting me. I haven't fired my gun. We finally have dropped off, but he is able to land a little bit more, use damage control, and then I'm like, whoops, we're going to run into this island. Oh, broke that streak. What was it? 3 days? Man, must have been a record, right? So, of course, we're going to back up. We are in smoke. Plus, we are past the detection for this ship as long as I don't fire. So I back up. We have captured C2. That's really what was the goal. We wanted to capture C. Yeah. That's all I've done, by the way. I've just captured bases. The enemy Atago is capturing until someone hits him. Ooh, another hit completely prevents the capture. Okay, now we can take our time. There is a Montana. Why is a Montana going for B? Interesting. 20 seconds on our torpedoes. I would love to send torpedoes for that Montana. The Montana, for those who don't know, is the Tier 10 US battleship. I can't wait to get the Montana. Oh, okay, the Atago on ascend. Woo, that was close. That was close. We almost accidentally killed ourselves. I can't wait to experience the Montana. I have heard that it doesn't have quite the armor value of the Yamato. So in that regard, it can't stand up to the Yamato's guns. You know what? That's unfortunate. Plus, the US battleships don't have the ability to get the same exact build as Japanese battleships. I'm curious if they will consider making it more universal, because at some point you're going to get into other battleship lines like the German battleship, maybe the British battleship. They're going to be maybe a carbon copy of the US battleships, but they're going to have access to a better module build, and it's just going to make all the US battleships irrelevant. We'll see where they go with that. This guy, however, I hit him with 2 torpedoes, caused 1 flood, and he was rocking the holiday camo. We've got 50 seconds on more torpedoes, and it looks like he is at least aware of our presence somewhere. Now, as a battleship captain, you need to be very careful of destroyers. High-tier destroyers generally are very skilled. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of planning to be as successful as a high-tier destroyer can be. You cannot overextend. You need the support of your cruisers to take out those destroyers. I feel like this Montana is a little bit too overextended. He's putting himself in a position to take torpedoes, and he doesn't really have the rate of fire to deal with destroyers if we were to show ourselves. So it's just very dangerous. I really like having at least a token cruiser. A really good cruiser captain can save your behind a ton if you're in a battleship having to deal with enemy destroyers. The friendly gearing looks like he's going to land 3 torpedoes on the Montana. I guarantee the Montana is now going to flood a little bit. He had to use damage control on mine. And my assumption is that he's using a premium damage control. I can't imagine why you wouldn't. You're in a very, very, very important ship. Most likely you will always be top tier, so people will be gunning to get you out of the match. Oh, look at that gearing. That's pretty juicy. And I was considering torpedoes. I send them anyway. I felt like he's going to die, but that gearing is really what I care about. 7.5 kilometers. Nothing else matters. Kill this guy. The Montana dies to the combined might of my team, and I need to walk the shells a little bit forward. Remember, these are destroyers. They move very fast, Notser. Okay, we get it. He felt the pressure. He used his smoke. Now I've overextended. I didn't realize there were 3 enemy ships right in front of me. Ugh, that's a little scary. I'm spotted, so I use my smoke. I have to. I'm just way out in the open, completely naked. I have no backup. Have to use smoke. But that's exactly what destroyers are great at. They find themselves in a position where they can't deal with it. They can just hide. Now, where is this gearing? He is hiding from me. I just need one spot. Friendly aircraft carrier, I believe, was trying to spot him for me, but he's in the smoke, deep in the smoke. So at this point, I'm completely alright with waiting for the gearing to show himself. I'll wait out his entire smoke to kill him. He's too low to allow him to escape. Taking both destroyers out is a huge deal. That's a lot of power that the enemy loses immediately. All my battleships feel safe. They can see the enemy before they torpedo him. And I thought the North Carolina was him. No, it's just the North Carolina Notser. 15 seconds on torpedoes. We're considering who we should send them at. And oh my god, look! There he is! He chooses to escape, but guess what? Right into my clutches. And we miss with the first salvo. We don't miss with the second. And we take out the gearing before he can even fire. And all his friends are ready to fire on me too. Steering gets knocked out. Oh, right on us. Propulsion gets knocked out. 2 of our guns are completely destroyed. I'm just holding my fire. We take another big shot from the Mikhail. And finally, okay, we're gone. We're disappeared. I choose to use my damage control, of course, to fix all modules. And now, torpedoes are available. So this group of ships appears to be going around the island, trying to stick together as close as they can. I am aiming at the North Carolina. The North Carolina, he looks pretty rigid in his positioning. Possibly he is distracted by either firing his gun or trying to maneuver away. So he looks like he'll go right into my trap. Now, I did not plan this Mikhail to come through the torpedo system. He's going to warn everyone. So hopefully it's going to be too late for them to react. Now, it looks like I might actually land one on the Mikhail. Yep, on the nose. Good. That's where flooding is caused. And, oh, this is going to be good. This North Carolina is going to take at least 4 torpedoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, completely destroy the North Carolina. Oh, man. I couldn't have imagined that I was able to one-shot a battleship. I was just trying to get a couple torpedo strikes on a couple ships, but I believe the Mikhail was dropping smoke, which helped to hide the torpedoes. The North Carolina had no chance. He had no time to react, and it worked out beautifully. Now, my cooldown is still going for the torpedoes. I lost 2 of my 5 guns. Smoke is just now coming up, and the North Carolina does not like how he died. I wouldn't like how I died either. That was kind of embarrassing, North Carolina. You died. You allowed yourself to take 5 torpedoes. Any change in direction at all would have protected you from total annihilation. This is why you need to it's not exactly a crazy Ivan, but it is the same concept. Every once in a while, you change your direction. If you feel like there's a threat, and there's definitely a threat when there's enemy destroyers that were already confirmed in the area, killing your allies. That's just the facts. That's why taking destroyers out of the match is so important. It helps your battleships feel secure. Now, I'm trying to consider, should I torpedo this Tirpitz? Where is this Tirpitz going? So I figure the Tirpitz is going to turn a little bit north, port side for him, and I need to lead based on that direction. Well, guess what, Notser? He does not turn a little bit north. In fact, he's turning starboard. He's actually making it completely irrelevant. And I do a quick check. Yep, not going to come anywhere close to the enemy. So now we get to wait on torpedoes. That enemy Atago is very low. I was considering firing, but that's very dangerous. I'm only 6 kilometers away from a Tirpitz. I'm very low. If he decides to engage me, he's probably going to kill me. So it's best to just hold my fire. And of course, the North Carolina doesn't like me. Can't imagine how I'm able to avoid detection. Well, I know how to play U.S. destroyers rather well. And I know when I've pushed the limit and when I need to stay in stealth. So Gearing's able to land his torpedoes on the enemy cruiser. This Tirpitz is isolated. It's just him and an aircraft carrier. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? Let's just go for it. I'm going to try and get as close as I can to the enemy Tirpitz, torpedo him in the face, and kill him before he kills me. So we're moving deliberately into detection. We are spotted, of course, 5.8. His guns were not pointed this way. I'm sure he shocked. This guy who stayed invisible for most of the match is now all of a sudden coming in. Well, guess what? You can't account for crazy, okay? This is the best part of U.S. destroyers. We pop our smoke. Once he's deciding, he sees us for half a second. He fires. Oh! We sustained a little bit of damage, but it was AP. No modules knocked out. We're good. We're good. Oh, here come torpedoes. Yep, he's not happy. He's not widespread. Not going to work out. We're able to avoid. We're backing up. We're going a little bit outside of the torpedoes, so I'm like, ah! He fires again. He misses, thankfully. Trying to angle. Come on. Angle the ship. Angle the ship, Notser. We send out one set, and it looks like he's actually turning. Here comes some more. Oh, God. I can't move for that. Okay, so we need to kill him before he kills us. Oh, my. Are we going to kill him? Are we going to kill him? Kill him. Oh. Yes, it was about the length of a torpedo between our death. So we got 3 kills, 9 torpedo strikes, and 8 shells landing on the target. We actually had more torpedoes land on the target than rounds. That's Japanese destroyer, Notser. This is a Fletcher. Well, it's just the way the game worked out. Sometimes your strategy is dependent on the enemy's deployment. We never really ran into a situation where we could make use of our guns. We did 2,031 base XP. Not bad. Not bad at all. We did around 125,000 points of damage, mostly in torpedoes. So I really hope you enjoyed that moment at the end. I certainly was screaming about how awesome it was. It was way too close. But that's part of the charm, right? Seeing these insane plays. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.